because she was trying to guess where your head would be when you sat down, and so she was just like.
No, I'll set it. It's okay.
Well, we were just trying to help because you were so stressed, and we were like, let's try and get everything done.
I really appreciate it.
So when you got back, I tried to set up that, and then I was like, I think it's Audition. I don't know how to get the stuff up there, but I opened Audition.
File new multi-track. Kat knows how to do it, or she should.
She wasn't here. Oh. She was... Right when she showed up, that's when we were like, oh, we should go get coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Because every time we see Kat, we're like, coffee. No.
Coffee, it's like Pavlov affected to this point. Yeah.
I'm just glad that they actually had cinnamon spice latte today.
Do you have it in your mug?
I do. Look at the condensation on. Like, I've never seen a mug with condensation.
And like the paper on the stickers getting wet. I was going to mention that to you. We made stickers for the mugs and for ourselves because we had a bunch of stickers left over. And mine got rubbed off.
What do you mean you just got rubbed off?
Like the top half of it is rubbed off so you can't see it.
See, look, we gotta
get better stickers.
We do, but we need to figure out exactly what... I need to do it on Redbubble, which we can do now that we have the logo. I'll see what it is like on Redbubble to make stickers and all that. Because those, like, you can upload, like, any of your own artwork, and you can say, oh, I want this on mugs, I want this on, like, pictures, I want it on pillows, and they will put it up on the shop, and then they'll only make it if somebody orders it.
Oh.
So it's not like you're buying a whole supply, and then if you don't sell them all, then it comes out of your pocket.
No, that makes sense.
They buy it, like, as... They make it as people buy it.
Huh. That'd be fun.
So we can do that, but I don't know what, like, if that's going to cost us anything and how, like, shipping works. Yeah. I don't know any of that, So
we could always partner with stamps.com.
I'm a nerd. Like, I love stamps. You know this, right? You know that I collect stamps.
I know. You collect erasers and stamps.
And stamps. Because that's the coolest thing. That's what all boys, they want in a girl is...
Yeah. That's what they want to see.
Yeah.
When you go into the room,
it's a Disney wall, and then it's erasers and stamps.
Yep. Mm-hmm. At that point, the boy's like, "This is it.
This is it. I've made it."
Yeah. This is.
No one's ever gonna love me. No, it's okay. I'll find somebody one day. No, but so. I don't know. I'm going to ask you, but you're not going to know the answer. But I know that new stamps come out at the beginning of every year. So, like, January 4th, you can go to, like, I was going to say box office. You can go to, like, the post office, and you can buy, like, the new stamps for that year.
Yep.
But I want to know if there's any other time during the year where they come out with, like, new stamps. It can't just be once a year when they come out with new stamps. And you don't have the answer, but maybe someone out there does. Do you know when they come out with new stamps?
Yeah. Our avid stamp collector audience.
Please.
Actually, I do have a question for you. Not really a question, more of a Randy's random thought of the day. Wow. That's interesting.
Oh, come on, phone.
You
have to warn me when we do this because we always then take up.
No, it's the best. I can't warn you.
Randy's random.
It's such a good jingle.
Look at all the little green. We've gone through so many.
Oh my goodness. It's like we have a podcast where we talk about these every once in a while. I know,
but I haven't been writing these down. Like, I need to...
You need to keep writing them?
Well, because we're about to run out, but all my random thoughts now are just, like... depressing things, and so I'm like, I can't write those down. Okay, I do have one. I meant to talk about this one. We're not going to get into this, but I meant to talk about this one when we had Jesse on, if we did do a random thought. It's difficult to act, but it's easy to act badly.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
We're not going to get into it, but that was the one that I wanted to talk about with Jesse on, and then we never did. Okay, so here's this one. Why is it illegal for me to turn left when I'm at a stoplight? So, like when we're leaving our campus, there's a light and I can't turn left unless the light is green. But if you go down campus, like one street, there's no light. And all I have to do is wait until the cars are empty. There's nobody on the street. And then I can turn left. Why can't I use my discretion at a red light and be like, look, there's no cars over there. There's no cars over there. I can turn left. No, illegal. I get a ticket for that. But if I move down one street, then it's all up to me.
I love these. They're my favorite part. Like, these are the best. Well, think about it this way. Stoplights are there because it's a high traffic area and a bunch of people are trying to go past this street. Stop signs are there because it's not as much traffic.
Yeah.
And so it's easier. So imagine like, because at that stoplight, right?
I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly
you know
what
the
you're
two
talking about.
streets.
I live here.
Yeah.
But that street during the daytime is a high traffic area. Lots of cars passing it, right? Imagine trying to piece together like the perfect time to turn left when there's 30 cars going nonstop.
I guess.
And they're all going 60 miles an hour.
But it's not. No, it's the same street. It's the same street. I'm motioning with my hands, and I forget that this is also like an audio thing. So not vertically, horizontally. So if I'm moving forward, the street that I come upon is like the light. And then if I move down like 100 yards, I'm still going to cross that same street. That's still like busy street, but now it's only a stop sign.
Yeah, but there's not people coming from the other direction because it's a dead end.
Oh, I see. I get what you're saying now.
Yeah,
okay.
so there's less traffic. Because imagine if you and the other person were both trying to turn left.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when it's a four-way stop, typically they'll have stoplights.
There needs to be more,
If it's just like a dead end, like perpendicular T kind of situation, then it's just a stop sign.
I guess that makes sense.
It does make
sense. But
I
just get tired of sitting at that red light because that red light's so long.
It's so long. And for what? For what reason is it that long? Red lights, stop being so long.
Stop being so long.
This is a call for all red lights.
We know you're listening. I don't know what that was.
I was going to go Randy's random thought of the day. Wow, that was interesting.
Awesome.
Cool. You have a little doohickey. Do you want to explain the doohickey?
I do have a doohickey. I have ice. I didn't want to chew it in front of the mic.
That's cool.
So I now have a little machine that I was at work and one of my coworkers like hit the laugh button and he was like, "You can make your life into a sitcom," not realizing that one of my dreams in life
is to be in a
sitcom. And so he was gonna go put it away and I was like, no, I have to buy it. And he was like, go laughing, and then he started walking away. I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm going to buy that now. Like, I need my life to be a sitcom.
Like you're actually gonna you want to spend money on
this? And then I had to explain to him because then he was looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, no, I have a podcast, and so this is gonna help with the podcast. I'm definitely not gonna use it in my personal life.
No, I definitely haven't been using it this entire day.
No. So there's. It's so good. We're going to go through all of them now because I haven't, honestly, that's like the only like one of 3 that I've listened to, and there are 16 buttons on here.
Oh, God. Oh, man. This is going to be great. Let's go. I like it because it's passive aggressive.
I'm going to use all of these. Like, every time you make a terrible joke now, it's just going to be like... Are you proud of yourself? You happy with that one? And I can't skip it. It has to play through the whole sound.
Press the button again in the middle of it.
What do you mean?
Press the same button twice and see if it plays all the way through.
What do you... No, see, you have to listen to the whole thing to play another sound.
You bought a shoddy sound machine.
You know how much that was? This was $13.
$13?
But then with my discount, it was only like $8.
Oh my God. I love that one. That one's fun.
That one's we're not going to use that one that much. This one. That's a bit much. That little break at the end.
That was me with my mirror.
That's an old reference. That's an old callback. That's pretty good. That's a good one. Randy's random thought of the day.
Yeah.
Randy's random thought of the day. This is so good. That one's weird.
Is it $13 worth of good, though?
From the little enjoyment that I've already gotten out of it, yes, it was worth $13.
That's a lot of money.
For happiness?
I'm
just thinking, like, cheap.
I think happiness is free. See?
good.
That one agrees with me.
No, shut up. Nope, never using that one ever again.
I think those two go together.
That's your favorite.
Ah, yeah.
Tayler can never touch this. He can't have this, or that is all this podcast will be turned into. Ew.
That one's gross. That one's like gross.
Ew. Okay, those are all the sounds.
Take those buttons out.
Take those buttons. Don't.
Which one was it? The last one?
You can't. Don't break it. If you break it, you owe me $13.
Give me scissors.
No, we're just don't. You pulled it out.
You know, like halfway. It just made it stretchier.
I pushed you back in.
Oh, gross.
You know when you hit your head or you like, and then you get a bump, you just gotta push it back in.
Yeah, you push
that's how you
it's
fix
just like
it.
you're buffing out the dent in the car. Yeah, the human body.
Okay. What?
So
You talk about happiness. This brings me so much happiness. Like when my coworker showed it to me, like it was worth the money. I had already spent money that day. I was telling you about this, that I had bought magazines. I had already spent money that day. And then I saw this and I was like, I have to. I already broke my own rule. Don't let Tayler touch it.
And immediately I knew exactly what I had to do.
Yeah. We'll see how often this gets used because I'm probably going to set it here and forget about it for the rest of the episode.
Great. Just like Gert.
Just like Gert. I love Gert.
He's great, man.
And now we have Leroy. He's part of the
Leroy.
podcast now.
Yeah, if you guys didn't watch the first episode that was video, we lost footage for, I don't know.
Solid 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
3 minutes because of a camera glitch. And I introduced Long-Legged Leroy. So go check out Long-Legged Leroy. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That's it. I'm waiting for the intro. I thought after we talked about this, you were going to be like,
Well, I mean, you know, this is Media for the Intellectually Impoverished. I'm Tayler.
I'm Randi.
And this is a podcast that
enriches your mediocre lives. Which one?
That was the one. That was the one I wanted.
I want to keep it in the center, but I'm No.
I just tried to steal it.
No. Leave it here. We have to tape it down so you can't take it.
It's great.
Now we both have control over it. I will rip out that button. I will rip out the fart button if you abuse it. Don't test me.
I'm resisting the urge.
No. Never mind. We can't. Tayler can't be a big boy.
We know this. We all know. Everyone knows.
So what are we talking about today, Tayler?
What are we talking about today? I don't remember.
We're talking about, is college worth it?
That's a good topic.
It is.
That's a good one.
Especially for somebody in like our field.
Yeah, especially.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I feel like this is more of a discussion one. Like we're going to have to talk at the same time.
But I think we should at least introduce, maybe we have before, but just to reiterate. So we're both in college.
Yes, currently.
I'm a junior, about to be a senior.
Yeah, you're about a year out from graduating. I am, depending on how I play my cards, I'm a year and a half out of graduating.
I was going to say 3 months. I meant 3 semesters.
Yeah.
You are not 3 months from graduating.
No, I wish. Actually, I don't wish. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
So we've been in college long enough to kind of understand I don't want to be like, oh, we understand
we know
college.
Everything. No, that's not this. This is just us coming from our perspective, what we've experienced so far. And of course, experiences and thoughts change over time. So we might graduate college and be like, actually, forget everything I said. College sucked. And it was like,
and that's sort of the downside of having our opinions out on the internet, is that they'll be there and then our opinions will change and then people can be like, well, you said, and we'll be like, shut up. I'm an evolving human. Yeah,
and that's what sucks about like society today, is that everybody thinks that like creators are one-sided and that they're not allowed to change over time. Like no human beings change. As much coming from me as someone who absolutely hates change. Like it's an unavoidable fact of life that you are going to change and your opinions are going to change. Your not morals necessarily, but like just...
Yeah, I mean, you will change. And going to college, I think, was the biggest change that I've ever had.
100%.
For multiple reasons, right?
Well, yeah.
Especially, like, creatively. I think not only my views, but my ambitions have changed.
Definitely.
As well as, like, what I see myself being able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we started this podcast in college.
Yeah.
Right? This is our college thing.
When we were, like, barely out of being a freshman, like, our ambition right after a year of, like, being in cinema and you in interactive media, we were like, we're going to make something. We're going to, like...
Yeah, and see where it goes.
Yeah.
And it's gone. And it's been going.
And
now
it's
look
gone?
at us.
Did you say it's gone?
Gone as in it has been going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, my ambition is completely gone.
No, we're done.
No,
this is it.
This is we hate to inform you. We make this joke too often.
We do.
So like when we actually, we're like the boy who cried wolf. So
yeah,
when
when we're
like,
actually done, people are
we're like, are they done? Is this a? This bit's been going on. This bit's been going on for like a year. Like, when are they going to put out the next episode? Come on, dude. And they slowly start crying.
You think anybody will cry when we're done?
I think so. I think I will.
I think I will too. Yeah.
Well, you crying is not that big of a feat.
No! We're gonna have to figure out how to use this. Do we need to put it like really close to the mic, or you think they can hear it like further away?
Oh, I mean, we'll find out after this episode's edited.
Okay.
You can definitely hear it on my mic.
Yeah, and your mic is super. You pick me up on your mic.
Yeah, that's true. I need to get a better mic.
We do need better mics. We always wanted those mics that like hung down.
Oh yeah, we want. I mean, if anyone loves us enough to gift us 2 SM7Bs and swing mic stands, that'd be great. We'd love you. We would shout you out. We would like call you our producer or something. I don't know.
100%. We'd give you a title and you could be on the podcast.
You could, absolutely. We'd make it happen.
We'd figure it out.
Yeah. So if that's out in the open now.
A stalker out there just
waiting. He's just like, I gotta get rid of these SM7Bs.
No, somebody out there just got so excited that we opened ourselves up to all of this.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Someone's like, I've just got 30 of them in the back of my car.
Yeah,
like, I ain't got nothing to
been
do with them.
waiting to give them away.
Shit, at this point, I've been using them as toilet paper. Like, I got too many.
I wish.
Oh, man. But yeah, I think that my stance on college is an interesting one.
Yeah. So I think we're going to come to it in a different perspective being creatives. I think I can't speak for other people who go into college like to be a lawyer, to be a nurse, to be one of those like heavily
study-based. Yeah, I'm not saying this is definitely meant for people who are creatives or want to pursue like, you know, creativity as like a career.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you got to go to college if you want to be a doctor. I'm not going to go to a doctor who doesn't have a doctorate. Like, I'm not. It's because there are certain things that require extra study.
Mm-hmm.
People have had this debate. Does creativity, does working in the film industry, does working in the games industry, does that require schooling? And there's multiple schools of thought.
I'm glad you're using it. Awesome. It's too long.
It's too long. They need to cut it.
Yeah, let's open the box and let's cut it.
I'll fix it. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that was one of the reasons I wanted to go to college, is because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in life, right? I knew to some extent I wanted to work in the games industry. I wanted to make video games. My dad was super worried that my mom, both of them, I guess both of my parents were worried that I wasn't going to pick something that was going to be, you know, stable financially. And that's a valid thought that I think a lot of parents of creatives have, especially parents that don't necessarily like have the same views on creativity as yourself might. So my dad he pushed back a bit on me being like, well, I want to work in the games industry. He's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know. And that's why I'm going to college.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I told him things like I could be a concept artist. I could be a coder. I did a lot of coding in high school. I thought I was going to be a coder in college. I even tried games coding, but it's just like that wasn't it. There is a lot of creativity and a lot of smarts that goes into coding, and while I think I could do it if I were driven to, it's just not where my passion was lying. And I found that out pretty quick. I found that out in my first semester, and then I was like, I had that pitfall that everyone has in college where you're like, what the hell am I doing with my life? Where am I going to go from here? And
me right now.
It's rough. But everyone has those moments, I think. And it's especially important to acknowledge that it happened and to acknowledge that it could be happening to you. And to know that you will find something. You're not just going to be stuck. And even though it might take a bit, something will stick eventually. One of the key moments that I remember, though, is when we went out to some comic shops and I saw The Last of Us 2 had an art book.
Okay.
And I was like, I want this really bad. And I was like, but it's $50. And you were like, get it. And I was like, okay. And then I did. And I went back and I scoured that book from front to back. I looked at every single image and I like soaked it all in as best as I could. And I was like, this is so visually interesting, right? It's fun to look at. It's cool to see where, you know, it started versus where it ended up in the game. And I think that I was like, I like the idea of taking someone's concept and someone's imagination, putting it to paper, putting it in the real world. You can, so someone else can see it. It's like the idea of transcribing someone's dream visually. And that was so interesting to me. And I'd always sort of been drawn to concept art. I remember my favorite parts of games are when you beat it and then it's like, cool, you've unlocked concept art mode. And then you can go through and look at all the images. And it's because I would just spend hours, like I wouldn't even play the game again, or I wouldn't play any other new games that I would just be looking at the concept art, looking at like where these things came from. And because it's always just been so interesting to me to see how someone started with their idea and how they ended up. And I wanted to be the path between those two things. And as I've even pursued concept art, like it shifted again to more level design, right? I like the idea of creating the layout of the level, what it looks like when a player enters, and how to funnel a player correctly so that they experience the level in the way that that it's designed to be experienced. And that's just because like my art skills aren't quite where they were supposed to be by this time. I started art really late. I started drawing like at all in high school, like my sophomore or junior year. And I've been playing catch up ever since. Not to say that I'm a bad artist. I think that one, it's important to affirm yourself and say that, yes, I can draw. Yes, I can do art. And two, I think it's also important to notice your flaws and to say, hey, like I do lack in these areas. Like I'm bad with color, really bad with color. My sketching art is pretty solid. I can conceptualize stuff in sketches, but when it comes to coloring things, when it comes to shading, I can do basic shading enough to get me along. But when it comes to actually coloring things, it's just not my know-how. When it comes to college itself, I think the most important thing that I've gotten out of it has been community and like ability to network. And I think that that's why it's important for anyone going into the games industry or the films industry or any sort of like creative industry. I think it's important for you to go to college, even if it's like a community college or even just like a film school, right? Because there are some private film schools that you can apply to and you can work there and get very specific knowledge to what you need. But going there and meeting people and meeting the professors, that's how you get a job, is because those professors hopefully are in the field currently or were in the field and have those connections. And I think that the people that I've met and the network that I've been able to create of fellow creatives it's going to be the most important thing for me moving forward, because I've gotten an offer on a couple of short films before to go and like do their audio. I've turned down a few because of because of time and because of
yeah.
this bad boy that I love, because I am committed to you guys. But I've gotten another opportunity recently. I'm going to be working on like one of our professors' short film, doing all of the soundscaping.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't think I can say what it is yet, but without going to college, I wouldn't have these opportunities, as well as I wouldn't think I would know that audio was such a viable option for me. Because we started the podcast and I was like, I can do a podcast because I understand audio. But now that I've sort of delved into audio and creating sound and making things sound nice, like it really is something that I'm passionate about, something that I really enjoy, and it's something I can see myself doing. And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't gone to college. So I think that's my view. I don't think it's necessary for you to go to college. I really don't think it's necessary. And I'm like, because I do that thing where it's like, is it necessary to do that
You
thing?
do like using the word necessary a lot.
Because I think it's possible, and it's absolutely, possible for you to not go to college and to still be successful. What really, really matters is your ability to get yourself out there. However you can do that is up to you, and it really depends on your drive. I will say it's a lot harder for you to get into the industry without going to college or going to some sort of school or someplace where you can network. It's not necessary, but it is extremely helpful.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's my stance on college. I don't know if that was super long-winded or not. I mean,
no, I mean, everything that you said, like, is basically the same thing. So in my family, my parents are very old-fashioned, and so they've always instilled in me from a very young age that like I was going to go to college. There was never like an exception of like, oh yeah, after high school, like you can do whatever you want. You can get a job. You can like travel, like whatever. It was like, no, you're gonna go to college. Like no option. Yeah. Even though when it got to the time of being a senior, they're like, so what do you want to do? You want to get a job or you want to go to college? I was like, I'm gonna go to college.
Yeah. It was the same way in my house. I think it was very much, everybody else went to college. I think there's some sort of stigma currently in America specifically that's like, if you don't go to college, then like, what are you doing? I
think it's the complete opposite now. I think,
really?
Yeah, at least in my, like, I know so many people and so many people from high school and people at my job now who don't go to college, and they're like, they're working, like, and I just can't imagine already being like a full-time job working 9 to 5 every day. I think, but yeah. I'm such a person, like, I take school so seriously. I'm a perfectionist and I'm a workaholic. And so for me to imagine a world without school, without like a schedule and assignment to do and like keep me on track, like that idea just terrifies me. And so that's why I think that's part of the reason why I decided to go to college as well, is like my parents were like, college?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing. My dad was a lawyer, and then he stopped being a lawyer. He's now a speech pathologist. And then my mom was a nurse. My mom just finished getting her like master's degree so she could move up in her position in her company. And my dad did the same thing. He went back to school multiple times. And so they're very like school-based. They're very like those like 4 like core jobs that you usually hear like older people talking about. Like back then you could only be like a lawyer, a doctor, a police officer, or like, I forget what the last one is, but there's like 4 core things that like you could do. There wasn't any like art or teacher. That was the other thing. Yeah. You could be a teacher. And so for the longest time, I thought I was going to be a teacher. I love like tutoring people. I love helping people. And then kind of trying to think of like that moment where I was like, I want to be a creative. I've been obsessed with YouTube since its like conception. As soon as they started like posting, like not posting videos, but when it became popular, I was always watching it throughout like middle school, high school. And so there was this one video when A Quiet Place came out. I saw John Krasinski, who directed that movie, doing a behind the scenes of like what it was like to be a director for that film. And as I was watching it, I was like, this is what I want to do. I remember that day so vividly, sitting in my living room watching it and like him describing each choice and why each each choice like impacted the audience and why he decided to do this and film it this way and have this like crescendo of music and things. And I was like, that is what I want to do. And then I immediately was like, my dad was sitting next to me. I was like, I want to be a director. And he was like, no. No way.
So soul crushing.
No. Again, so they were very hesitant about letting me go into like a creative field because, you know, parents, they want the best for you. They want like to know that you're going to have a stable job and you're going to be able to take care of yourself. And for the longest time, like a career in creative or like the art industry or anything like that, it's not seen as a viable option.
No, and I think that is definitely changing.
100%.
But yeah, it's just it's crazy that like it's crazy that that like a single moment can like impact your decision for like your future.
No, yeah. And I mean, I remember it so clearly, but then like things started to make sense as time went on, and then I started applying to schools. For the longest time, my dad wanted me to go to an Ivy League school, and so I applied for like Harvard and Yale and not Carnegie. Is it? No, it's not. Cornell, things like that. But I wanted to study film, and I remember that exact moment. And then looking back, I was like, oh, when I was like 5 years old, I would take my dad's camcorder and I would like record little short films like with my brother, or like when my friends, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, when my friends would come over, like I would be the person behind the camera directing them, and we did like a news station like show.
Nice.
And so like I had two of my best friends at the time being the anchors, and they were coming up with a story like there was this big hurricane that was gonna like hit Houston, and we were all preparing. And then my brother was like the weatherman who was actually outside, and he's pretending there's a hurricane, and he's like running around, and just thinking about that, it makes me so happy. And like, so it's kind of like what you're saying, like you notice like concept art because of a book. It was more recent, but like you then like, just because you got like so involved in it, you were like, no, this is what I want to do. Like it's a passion that you then could turn into a career. And so looking back, I can see that passion had been with me the entire time. And now necessarily, and this is what I was saying about like, you were having that moment of you don't know what you're going to do like after your first semester. I'm going through that moment right now because I've told myself for the past like 3 years that I want to be a director. I want to make films, but I'm noticing that as much as I love that creative side of me, as much as I love making those creative decisions, I don't know if that's like where my talents lie the best. I definitely know that I can't write because I just hate writing with a passion. Like I cannot sit at a keyboard. I cannot sit with pen and paper and physically put something on paper. I can't. It gives me like anxiety because my brain works way too fast. And so I can't get it all down. And it's just, and then when it's down and then I'm like, no, that wasn't, I thought there was something else that I was going to say in between these two lines. And it made like, it's so eloquent. And I can't.
Yeah, I think that writing is definitely it's not like an acquired taste as much, but it's a necessary evil.
Yeah,
I think. For creating, I don't like writing much either.
But I have all these ideas, and that's something that like college did was when I was starting college, seeing all the freshmen and everybody else, everybody had like all of these ideas, and everybody came in with experience already. People were in theater and people had side projects, and I was like, I did none of that. I went to a small high school and we didn't have theater. We didn't have art classes. Like I was coming in with nothing at all. And then college over this past couple of years has like developed that in me to where now I constantly am having creative ideas, things that I want to make now. But now I'm like too scared to start.
Yeah, I think that college has done the same thing. I remember coming into college with a couple of ideas here and there of just like things that are interesting. But what these classes that I've taken have taught me, and more than that, what the people around me have instilled in me through working with them on their things, is like how to be creative better. Because working with Topographical Gang, or I was in an improv group for, I don't know, how long? 3 semesters before it shut down?
Wasn't your friend during that time.
Yeah, you were.
I was, but I never like saw the shows.
Yeah, you never saw the shows because you hated me.
No, I didn't want to go alone. I didn't have any other friends.
All your friends were in it.
Where was I going to sit? All of my friends were on stage.
Yeah. But in being in that really honed my creative bone. Right, like it sharpened 100%. My skills, and then being on film sets, being in classes where the professors are actively asking you questions about your stories, and invested
getting
in
you to like think deeper into like all of your decisions and,
and
why
they're actually invested in you being creative.
Yeah.
They're not invested in them being creative and you knowing that. They're invested in you creating.
Yeah, and so this is something, if we want to talk more about the actual college side of things, and I think it's beneficial where we went to a smaller school, a smaller college, and I think that's why we get such a great experience and education, because we have few professors who have actually been in the industry, or currently like in the industry, like making their own things, and can handle us one-on-one. If we had gone to, like, I was going to go to a bigger university in another city, and I chose not to because of anxiety and I wanted to be close to my family, I do not think at all that I would get the same experience there as I have gotten here. I don't think I would have made any like sort of networking or like connections. Definitely wouldn't be as close as I am with the professors here. I mean, the professors here are like our friends almost, like our not colleagues, but yeah, I guess colleagues.
Yeah,
like,
and to some extent, yes. Like we've worked with our professors like on an equal basis. You've directed one of our professors. Yeah, I mean, and it's just such a good experience, I think, for us and for creatives. Not to say that large schools don't have different advantages.
No, they definitely do. I mean, definitely get to network more. You have to think about like who you are as a person and what's going to be best for you, which I know is hard. I mean, you have to make that decision coming out of high school, like where you're going to go, and
it's too intensive a decision for a high schooler to make. Like it
really is. But you're going to have to make it. Or maybe, I mean, take advice from other people. I mean, that's what everybody does. I took advice from family members and friends, and you really have to know your boundaries, what your strengths are. Like if you're like an outgoing person already, go to a bigger university. You're going to thrive there because you're going to know how to like talk to everybody, get in with everybody. For somebody like me, who's more of an introvert, who likes making more of those like personal, really close connections, smaller university was what ended up being better.
Same. I think that, I mean, we know people that are huge extroverts that thrive here as well as there. Like I think that a bigger university will have more opportunities for you to network, and
also just to get involved in. I mean, I have other people who go to other different universities, and they have like their college like radio station, like their own TV station. We don't have that here, but like we're not missing out. Like we're still getting a good education. There's just more opportunities.
Yeah,
like,
it's the opportunities are different. The opportunities here are a lot of personal projects, both from the students and from the professors, which are good for portfolios, or just as good for portfolios and resumes as actual like large universities and large production stuff. But it's just down to where you think you would fit in the best. And also look at, where does a school rank on like in the state you're in.
That's why that was a big reason, because I mean, I don't want to give away where we are. I think it's pretty obvious. It's not that hard to find, but our school is actually second now. When I started here, it was third, and my choices were either going to the top film school in our state or going to the third top film school in our state. And now we're second. Yeah.
And we're lucky because we've seen this community specifically and this college within the university grow substantially. Because when I started in my major, there were 8 people that in our major completely. And now there's like the most recent class had 40 people coming in for my major.
Aren't we like the fastest growing department on campus right now?
Yes. Yeah. And that's part of the reason that
we're second in the country. I mean, not the country, the state. We're the second in the state. That's such a big, I mean, if you look it up, you could easily find, but like, that's such a big thing for us. Like, if you, like, other people who don't know, like, about Texas and what film schools are here, like, the top one is, like, the top one. And to say that we're second, like, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's cool.
Know. But I'm harping on that too much.
We're great. We're cool.
No. The other thing that we need to talk about is like choosing college to begin with, because you don't have to go to college.
No. My brother was going to go to a film school for the longest time and study like broadcasting and stuff, because what he really wants to do still, I mean, right now his path went way crazy, way down the wire. But he wanted to be a professional wrestler. He wanted to work in the wrestling industry, and be a part of.
Wait. What?
Yeah.
Say that again?
My brother, my middle brother, so my oldest brother lives up in North Texas and is a recording engineer, and is like the head recording engineer of like the university that he went to. And my middle brother wanted to be in the wrestling industry, like WWE.
As a wrestler.
That was his goal. It's still a very, very possible goal for him.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what he wanted to do for the longest time, to the point where, like, I was telling you, my parents were like pushing back against me going to
I can imagine how much they pushed back against that. Yeah, oh my gosh.
At some point he said, I was just talking to him because I stayed with him over the summer. At some point he said, like, yeah, they just gave up. They just stopped telling me no. He said that our dad came up to him and was like, listen, at this point, like, I can't tell you what to do. I just hope that whatever you do it well.
See, here's the thing. When it comes, like, you can ask your parents for advice. Yes, go to your parents for advice about what you should, like, if you're having a hard time picking a career or what the next step you should take in your life, definitely.
If you have a good relationship with your parents. And your parents are good people.
Of course. But also, if your parents are going to tell you not to go after something you're passionate about, maybe not listen to that.
Yeah. And he didn't at all.
Yeah.
And he got ridiculously close. He networked really, really well. He would go to, like, to the point where he was getting emails and getting calls to go set up wrestling, like, events. Mm-hmm. And so he would go and work the wrestling events as, like, a bouncer. He's a big dude.
Never met your brother.
No, he's like 6'1", 270 of pure muscle. Like, he is beefy. And, like, to the point, like, now he's a firefighter.
Really?
Yeah.
Why don't I know anything about your family?
I don't know. He just got certified and he just locked in a job as a firefighter. But yeah, he's jacked, which is total contrast to me and my robust body.
I wasn't making a face at the camera.
I didn't see it. But yeah, he wanted to do it for so long, and he actually has a bachelor's degree in broadcasting.
Wow. So he did go to college.
He did. He went to a community college. He ended up going because the film schools cost a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Almost as much as like 4-year private university, and this was just going to be like a winter summer type school. Mm-hmm. So they were like, just go to community college. It'll be way cheaper on you. And he was like, okay. So he did that and he studied broadcasting. And now he's got like an EMT certificate. Anyways, so all that to say that I'm wrapping it back up. Like, when it comes down to it, like, the college itself doesn't necessarily matter.
No, make the best decision for you. Know if you want like a bigger, smaller, or any university at all, and then whatever financially you can handle.
Yeah, what you can handle. And then, to me, professors hate when I say this, and I'm
scared. What are you going to say?
What I say is, college is not always necessarily about your grades and what you study. College is not necessarily.
No, what professor is going to get angry at you? None of our professors are going to get angry at you.
Not angry, but like, you should probably study more. And I was like, whatever.
Oh, yeah, I get it if they're speaking to you. I get it. No. My professors are constant. I mean, we have the same professors, but they're constantly giving me different advice of like, you don't have to get all A's. Calm down.
Yeah, it's not necessarily about your grades and what you study. College as a creative is more about what you do with your time and how you network and how you build your portfolio.
All that our professors tell us. What do you mean?
That I've been told. I mean, I say this to professors, and sometimes they're like, well, grades are important at some point. And I'm like,
drop their names. What?
I don't want to.
No, 100%. Like, I'm not going to take my own advice. I can understand it logically, like that grades don't mean everything. Every single person that I have come to about freaking out about my grades, about projects, about assignments that I have to get done, every single one of them is like, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get an A in every class.
You don't.
The most important thing is that you're creating and you're networking, because that's like That's half of why you should be, especially in the creative field, that's half of the reason why you should be going to a university is to make those connections and build out your portfolio.
And you're doing that really well.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Your portfolio this is your portfolio. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
What we do, this is part of your portfolio.
Okay, but how... Oh, we're going to get serious for a second. What I am doing for this is talking.
Nope.
You do the editing.
Mm-mm.
They do like the planning now.
You're thinking about it.
What do I do besides talk?
Do you know what you do behind the scenes? You keep this shit running. If it weren't for you, none of the episodes would go up on time. I would finish nothing. Nothing would get done.
Okay. So
You produce.
I guess.
You assistant direct. You keep us on schedule. Yes, we have a producer.
So what am I put this on a resume, and what do I put producer on this? What do I put?
Co-creator.
Okay.
You created this podcast with me. You co-hosted it. You've kept it running. You have been the sole scheduler, right? It's you.
Okay.
All I do is talk, make stupid jokes, and then edit it.
Editing it is a huge part of it, and I always feel terrible that you are the one who's editing it.
It's fine. It's what I enjoy.
Yeah, but that's like, I don't know. I never feel like but you know this about, I never feel like I do enough.
You never feel like you do enough. Ever.
I could work 24 hours a day every day for the rest of my life, and I'd be like, not working hard enough.
The problem is that you hate having free time.
I really do. It's because my brain, I hate myself.
I was telling someone the other day, they were like, Randi seems so stressed. Is she okay? I'm like, she puts so much on herself because she hates having free times during the week. On the weekend is the only time she's allowed to have free time because that's when she feels like she can rest. And if she doesn't have free time on the weekends, then she gets stressed.
Yeah.
So it's if you have free time during the week, you get stressed because you should be doing something. And then at the weekend...
You have put it into words. That is exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
That is exactly how I feel.
During the week, you're stressed because you're not doing something and you feel like you should be. During the weekend, you're stressed because you are doing something and you feel like you should be resting.
Yep. That is exactly. And that is society. That is 100% like society telling me you have to work Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday is when you rest. And I can't get it in my head that it's okay if those lines blur.
Yeah, it's fine. I think that my rest day is typically Mondays, honestly. I have work in the morning and then one class, and then after that it's for this recording, and then I'm done, and then I just chill and I draw. So, but yeah, that's part of it too. Is college is about scheduling. You'll never have as much free time as you have in college.
I know it's true, but don't
it's
say
It's true. Even though maybe not you.
No.
She's her own case. She's an interesting one.
You can put a little ding there.
But you'll never have as much free time as you have in college. Spend it wisely. And create. Do what you're passionate about. Do those things that you've been thinking about for so long. Do it.
Stop.
You did. You did a whole filming thing.
One. You want to talk about everybody else in this department who's made like 100 things? You want to talk about the main group on campus that is running a YouTube channel with 8,000 subscribers who make a video every week?
They don't make videos anymore. They've stopped uploading completely.
They did it for a while though, and they grew their channel really well.
Yeah, and look at us, we're growing.
Yeah.
Look at us. Look at you guys.
I'm talking about me personally.
You personally?
I've made one short film. One, and I haven't even edited it. Chris keeps coming every week. I run into Chris, and he always asks me, "Have you edited it? Can I watch it?" I'm like, Chris, stop it!
No,
I have not.
I think that it's just.
This isn't a pity party for me.
This is not a pity party. Well,
it's always a pity party, but we're not gonna.
You're a pin drop from crying at this point. Spilling coffee everywhere.
It's there was more that I wanted to say. I know you were gonna say something, but I know.
You don't want me to talk about you.
I hope you want to keep talking about me.
I think that you can do it. I think your problem right now is just time, right? You just don't have the free time, and that's because of different circumstances. And when those circumstances clear up and things sort of settle down,
I'm definitely quitting one of my jobs next semester. I'm definitely going to live on campus next semester.
Yeah, I think that you'll be surprised how much you'll be able to do.
Here's the thing that I realized. We'll stop talking about me because I really do. There was more that I wanted to say about picking a university and whether you should go to college at all. But I realized that like a majority of my friends, besides like obviously, I think it's just you and one other person who is.
Is this a good thing?
Not anymore.
Okay, never mind.
No, so it's you and one other person who's like at the same like level as me in regards to like graduating. All of my other friends are higher up or like a level above us. So when I live, hopefully if I live on campus next semester, that's going to be my last semester with them. That's going to be I get one semester to finally be like, yes, you got a project, let's go. And hang out. And that's going to be it. And I hate that I waited so long. And then when they leave, it's just you and that other person. And I don't know what I'm going to do.
Person?
Victoria.
Oh, yeah, isn't it?
That's all I have. I have you and Victoria.
And that's not true. They'll be free to come and help film stuff because they'll be filming their own stuff. You could get... I think what's great about having so many friends that are older than you in this field is that when they
get
go
to pave the way for you.
Yeah, they go and they do their jobs and they're like, oh shit, we have an audio guy. Oh shit, we have someone who's amazing at Excel sheet and doing scheduling stuff. Let's send them your way.
Yeah.
I've told I can't tell you how many of our friends have been like, hey, if you need someone that knows audio, like post stuff, like I'm willing to be paid for that.
Paid.
Yeah, my thing is
this is your message out to everybody. Yeah. Start paying me.
Please. I tell people I have free time, but I don't have enough free time to do it for free.
Yeah.
Here you go.
So
continue.
Are you gonna? Was there anything that? Are you wrapping? You're trying to wrap up.
I think I'm good. You finish your things you need to say.
Well, I was just gonna because I have a lot of friends. You can't hear that.
I know. But I can. There's been construction going on outside our window for the past ever since we've been recording in here. Even before that.
Yeah.
So there's constantly banging and cars and beeping and stuff, which I'm so glad you can't hear because we have such a nice studio. Mm-hmm. And also I've just shoved sound paneling into the window.
Looks good.
It does. But yeah, I think it's funny because it's always just like wham, wham, wham.
So
I'll drink my tea.
I don't personally know somebody who's like you have, for instance, or maybe about somebody who is in the creative field who didn't necessarily go to college. I know some of my high school friends who not necessarily are creative. They chose not to go to college and they've just been working, and that's a valid like option. And you as a creative can choose not to. I mean, there's nothing wrong with absolutely like graduating high school and then moving out to LA or New York or wherever you want and then just like brunt working your way like into the industry.
Oh, yeah,
there's
like
nothing wrong with that.
Force just doing it and then staying strong. That is a tough life to live though.
It is, but it's also like it's valid. Like you 100% can do that. And especially again, you just have to know your strength. If you're not a person who loves school and knows that you're not going to do like, you're just tired of it. You're not going to do decently well with like grades and things like that. You financially, you can't afford it. Like you definitely don't have to go to college. You could definitely like, I don't even want to say that it's going to be like more difficult again, because if you're like a person who's just naturally like is just lovable and you can talk to literally anyone, like you could easily climb your way up that ladder.
Oh, 100%.
Easily.
Right? It's down to you, what you think that you can handle and what you are willing to put in. Because there's a lot to be said on like people that have the ambition but not necessarily the drive.
So something I want to bring up just briefly in our last couple minutes is I want to get your opinion on this because one of my other coworkers came to me with this problem and I didn't know exactly how to handle it.
Let's ask someone on a podcast and put it up on the internet for all to hear.
I mean, honestly, I've told him about this podcast, and I'm going to recommend this episode to him. And if he doesn't watch it, then that's okay. I don't know him that well.
Then play the podcast over the speaker at work.
At work. Oh my God, can you imagine? That'd be hilarious.
That'd be so great.
So he was telling me he's also a creative, but he didn't go to school for it. He isn't going to school, but he is currently trying to make his own short film. I told you about this, right?
You did indeed, yes.
He's currently, and so he wants my help, like looking over the script and everything from like an educated, like I'm going to school for this. I know like the technical terms for everything. He wants me to look over it and help him with that. He is currently in a relationship with somebody else who she went to school. So something that he really wants to do is act. And he's done stand-up comedy before, but he wants to get into like acting. His girlfriend, don't want to call it partner, whatever. He just said they were talking, but he also called her his girlfriend, which is weird.
This doesn't matter. It does not pertain to the story.
How many times do you get to like delve into the fact that like your brother is now a firefighter and I can't give one small little detail about... Okay, so his partner went to school for acting.
Yes.
And so they have been like arguing over like, is it like what is valid? Like she gets mad at him saying that he calling himself an actor when he hasn't gone to schooling for acting.
That's not cool.
Right? So what, and he asked me for advice and he was like, what do you, I mean, both are valid. I mean, you can definitely, and it's very specific when it comes to acting, because acting, like that community is very
very competitive, very, I wouldn't want to say mean. I don't think actors are necessarily mean.
It's prestigious.
Yeah, and it's because being an actor has such deep roots in society down to like ancient Greece, right?
Yeah.
Those are the first actors. This has been going on for millennia, right? People have been acting, and what people do is in acting, like Jesse said, I don't know if he said on the podcast or if he's just said to us, that when people act, they always ask like, oh, well, who do you study under? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because actors are big on like learning acting from other actors who know more than you.
Yeah.
And I think should be true of every field. I think you should always be studying someone's work, not necessarily under them, but there's something to be said about people with natural born talent for acting
100%.
that don't have to study as hard. I don't want to say you don't have to study at all. I think everyone should study.
And that's not the thing. It's not the fact, and that's what I kept getting confused as we were talking, was it's not that he's like not taught at all. He's self-taught. He is just not actively like pursuing like an education or a degree in it. He does his own research into different like tutors and mentors and things, reading their books. Like if you've taken, I took Jesse's acting class, we had to read like 5 books in a semester, each from like renowned like actors. And so that's what he's talking about, the difference between like the prestige that comes with actually getting like a major in acting and then being self-taught. To me, that shouldn't be like a barrier.
No, I don't think there should be a barrier there either. Beaver. I think that the creative community is full of gatekeeping.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I do not care for in the community. And that's one thing that I think we sort of don't stand for. I think both of us, and I think that as stands as the podcast, like we don't like gatekeeping to the point where we're making a podcast teaching you
to try and like to spread information.
I don't know. I think that anyone that's telling someone else that they're not they're not what they want to be just because they didn't do a specific thing,
exactly.
Right? That's really, really mean, and I don't think you should be hanging out with that girl.
That's what I was trying to tell him, but I didn't know how to say it. I was like, that's toxic.
That is extremely toxic.
You should not be talking to that person if they're telling you that you're not who like you want to be or who you're trying to be.
I think to an extent there's an idea of if you believe, you can't just believe you're something and become it.
Right.
But I think that if you're actively pursuing, if you're actively pursuing acting, you're actively pursuing becoming a better actor and looking for avenues to express that creatively. I think that, yes, you're an actor, right? Just because you're not going to school for acting, or you can't afford to go to school for acting, does not make you any less of an actor in my eyes. Yeah,
this was something that I thought of later that I wish I would have said. Like, everybody like gets the audition. Like, anybody can go to an audition.
Yeah, freaking Matthew Lillard, the dude that played I don't know who he plays in Scream because I've never watched it, but he plays Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo things, but he was also in Scream. He didn't go to audition. He went because his girlfriend auditioned. And then the directors were like, hey, can you audition for this part? You kind of look the part. And he was like, okay. And then he auditioned and he got the part and she didn't.
See, like it's
acting is the actors themselves can be very gatekeepy, but I think that when it comes down to it, directors will hire who they see fit for the part.
100%.
And if whether or not it's a traditionally trained actor or not, it does not matter to them if that person fits the part.
Nobody in the casting room, at least to my knowledge, and maybe I'm wrong, I'd love to hear Jesse's opinion. Nobody in the casting room is going to be like, so where'd you graduate and who did you learn under? Like, no, you got this audition. We want to see what you can do, not about what you've done. Who did you study?
I wouldn't say that there is gonna be no casting call that's like that. I'm sure.
I'm sure that some of them are, and I'm sure like.
But it depends on like the casting, the company that's casting you. But
I think it's more so like people reaching out to you. You know, that's like if you don't want to be the person who has to go like audition after audition after audition.
That's the networking part.
Yeah, if you want people to reach out to you, then that's kind of like that's you'd mentor under somebody. You'd get their connections. You'd get their name associated with you, and then
people reach out to you. But if you don't have that ability, like you're not any less of an actor for taking the initiative and going for it, right? And I think that girl needs to shut the fuck up.
It's interesting.
I think that
he dumped that on me, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah,
but okay.
I'm angry for you, whoever you are. Thumbs up.
You got this.
All right. Have you said everything you want to say?
Yeah. I wanted to get that out, that last bit.
Thanks so much for joining us on this intellectual journey. We hope you can take some of this shit and do with it what you want. Ultimately, like, it's your decision, right? Like whether or not you should go to college, whether or not you should study or teach yourself, or, you know, what avenue you take. But I think that us discussing it and talking about it, or I hope that us discussing and talking about it has like opened your eyes a little bit to, you know, different avenues that could be possible for you. And
has enriched your
mediocre lives. All right, bye.
Hey, bye.
Media for the Intellectually Impoverished is hosted by Trey Taylor Smith and Miranda Randi Zapes.
Produced by Cam Ritchie and edited by Kat Trapella.
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at MFTII Podcast.
Subscribe to our YouTube at Media for the Intellectually Impoverished or email us at mftiipodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening.